share your thoughts. Help us break down this mystery. Grab a seat, we guarantee you're in wonderful company, unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E. Unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E. Mrs. E. Mrs. E.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us here. I am Mr. E, joined by Mrs. E, and shortly when she gets back from a phone call, we'll have our guest, Auntie, joining us also. Looks like we've got quite a few people hopping on the chat here already and coming in. It's been a little while since we've been here. Hello to you too, D and A Resin, Olivia B, one of our moderators. Thank you so much for coming in here too to help us out with that. Melissa White Cotton, hello to you as well. And Real Me Too. Looks like you hopped off and we'll be back here shortly. Let's see.
You want to read
Alicia Johnson says, hello, Mr. and Mrs. E. Chat and mods. I'm so glad y'all are covering this. I have a bad feeling about this. Time is critical. Yeah, actually that we do too. So the reason we wanted to do this afternoon and now is because we are feeling a sense of urgency on this story. I think we put it up on Mrs. E put it up on our community page 3 or 4 days ago.
Mm-hmm. As soon as I saw it, yeah.
You know, and then she is not turning up, and so the last few days we've been trying to kind of get through all the information, make sure we've got everything accurate, so that we can present this to you. And so, we're going to spend the live today talking about this disappearance of Angel Turner, and so this. The reason we're covering this is because once you start to see this story, there's a lot of unexplained things about it, but there's a lot of hope and reason to believe that this child is currently still alive, but that time is critical right now. So that every day that passes, that may not be the case. But I am feeling some hope that this child can actually be found and brought home safely, but each day that goes by, of course, that becomes less likely. The mother Carrie, she has been a huge advocate for her daughter. She has started a page for her.
I can show that for you. I did want to say hello to our members here. I see a lot of members here today that are catching us live that maybe don't always get to catch us live. So thank you for being here, guys. We appreciate you all very much. And our great moderators, Olivia B and Lady T, aka Tit for Tat, is here. And let's see, the Real Me Too, Prickly Pear gets to catch us live from Dixon. All right. Oh, and there's Charlene. We love Charlene. Charlene's usually the first person to post.
Oh, ever. Is that right?
Well, not today, but usually.
Right.
Usually. So we appreciate her. Okay. Sue's telling us about another case. Okay. That's interesting.
Okay. That is interesting.
Yeah.
Didn't report them missing for 8 days.
Wow.
Yeah. So that would be something to look at there too.
That's so. I'm sorry. I'll pull that page up for you. I got distracted.
Oh, we can start however you like. We can start with the page first.
I'm kind of was hoping Aunt E would be here because she's not as familiar with the story as we are. We've been kind of researching it for the past couple of days because we wanted to make sure that we had all the facts and details correct before we jumped on here to talk about it.
So the reason we want to make sure that this Facebook page, this group is known is If you are wanting to follow the case, this is the page run by the mother, and the mother is
Well, she's one of the admins on it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought she started the page herself. Maybe
I'm not
wrong.
sure.
Well, anyway, this is her group. She's nothing's going up here that she doesn't approve or want there. So if you're wanting that direct source of information, it's the page Help Find Angel Turner, and they're basically is the mother, Carrie Michael. She's very active on there. She's sharing the flyer constantly, trying to encourage others to do so, and so a lot of great things are happening there for Angel. So anyway, I've seen how the Sebastian thing has gotten, where there's like 20 different pages, and you don't even know which ones to join, where to get the best information. That might end up happening with Angel unless this girl's found very shortly. But this would be the group I would recommend at this point, if you want to get that direct source, because our only source is the mother. The police, they are not doing press conferences. They are just doing investigative work at this time. So if you're kind of wanting that pipeline of information, the mother posts there several times a day, and you're getting the impression she's exhausted at this point.
Yes,
so,
very much so.
Is Auntie, I think Auntie's back. We can bring her back. Oh, she's on here. Okay, good. Hello.
I'm back.
Okay?
Hey, sorry, it was an important work call.
I got you. I've had to do that a few times on these live streams too. Hop away. So we really haven't gotten into the story yet. I know you're not maybe as familiar about all the details of it, Auntie. So I'm going to. I think what I'm going to do is just start really sort of with a timeline of events as we know them, and then we'll kind of get into some of the mother and kind of more details about the girl, the situation, and everything going on. So this is in Berkeley Springs, West Virginia, is where this is located. This is on the northern half of West Virginia. They refer to it as the Panhandle of West Virginia, and it's really close to a lot of major cities, like just a couple of hours away from like Baltimore, Washington, D.C., Pittsburgh, Harrisburg. I mean, you can get to a lot of major cities pretty quickly, but where they're located seems to be fairly remote. So she lives there with her father, but they have shared or split custody. The mother lives about 2.5 hours away in Pennsylvania. And at this time, when she went missing, she was with the dad. The parents have been split, seems like for about 10 years or so, just ballpark. But anyway, so the timeline that we've been able to put together so far with everything is that July 31st, she went to Valley Mall with her friends in nearby Hagerstown, which is about a half-hour drive away. August 1st, there are reports from neighbors in hindsight that on that date, someone saw a dark SUV parked behind the house, and that there was a Hispanic male in the home. And this was not with the knowledge of the father. This is just a report from the neighbor afterward. There was also a different neighbor that reported seeing a white 4-door sedan parked in front of the house with the trunk open, and that Angel was standing in the doorway looking out at the vehicle. Okay. So then the following day, August 2nd, this is the last time her dad sees her. They are at home alone. He said she was in a good mood. They're making jokes, having snacks, and then she goes to bed sometime around 11 p.m. He goes to bed sometime around midnight after locking everything up. The next morning, he wakes up sometime around 7:30. When he goes towards her room, he sees that there is I guess she has some kind of little dog gate placed up on her bedroom door, because the dog would come in and like wake you up or bother you while you slept. So she had a specific gate to keep the dog out of the room, and that door was askew and not in its proper place. So Angel's not there. He starts looking around the house, and he can't locate her. So at 8:22, so about 50 minutes or so later, after him searching around and trying to find her, he calls the mother, and the mother, is 2.5 hours away. And after that, they called the police to start reporting her missing. So that is the timeline up to the disappearance. And then there's a couple of things that have happened in the investigation since then. But let's start with kind of what we know about the disappearance. Obviously, the thing of interest is going to be those 2 vehicles that we're seeing at the home. I'm sure the police are all over that. The girl herself, we've got her. Yeah, so we've got her here. She's 15 years old. She has dirty blonde hair. Her mother says in one of the interviews that she recently got highlights. She's I don't know if I get the height, 5'1", and she just recently got a nose piercing, I believe, on her left side. And if you see that picture of her out there where she's sitting in a car with the nose piercing, that's the most recent
I've got
picture.
that one. Hold on.
Yeah. So if you want
there's one. She's got a nose piercing in this one, I think.
There's one where she's sitting in a car, and it's like her.
I've got that one.
Yeah, but these are all pretty recent pictures. These look like her currently.
Well, her mother in the interview that we heard with the Naked Truth, they said the mom said she was wanting to get her hair done and highlighted. So I got the impression that she and her flyer says she's blonde. So I got the impression that maybe her hair had been highlighted recently.
Yes, that's what she said.
And then that's the one. The one I have up right now looks more blonde than the rest of them. That's part of the reason I was putting that one up.
Right. And so as far as her personality, habits, things of that nature, her mother just described her. And by the way, this is all, if you want to get the source on the interview, the mother keeps pointing people back to her podcast interview she's done. It's Naked Truth with the host, two chicks and a mic. They did one kind of
They're linked in the description. So if anybody wants to go and watch the interviews, we've got them there.
Yeah. If you want to just kind of hear it straight from the mother's mouth, that's great. And she always kind of keeps pointing back to those interviews when people have questions, because she says, basically, if you have any other questions, most of that's answered there, because it gets exhausting, I'm sure, as the parent in this situation, having to repeat yourself. But so anyway, the daughter is described as being kind of a homebody, maybe not an extrovert, but does talk and get, once she warms up to people, huge animal lover, spends a lot of time watching animal videos. She describes her as being kind of in her own little world.
She was excited to go back to school, although she does do virtual school. So, but she was excited about that. Her mom said she was also excited, wanted to buy some new clothes.
Yes.
Let's see. And that this is one interesting thing that her mom said, that she was very on it with her medication. So when she left I'm sorry. I was going to say when she left the house. We don't know exactly. She did not take her medication with her. So I would anticipate if she was leaving, she thought it was for a short period of time.
Yeah. So here's where it looks like some kind of abduction, grooming, foul play scenario. Is that really nothing left with her, hardly.
Right.
The mother says that all of her toiletries are there, that her phone, tablets, things of that. She didn't have a phone. She has one of those like watches that works kind of.
She had both. She has both under electronics. She had a watch that she used for texting, but it was limited. It wasn't an iPhone watch or an iWatch. She had a school Chromebook, but they did already turn that over to the police. She did have a telephone. I don't guess I had that on there.
No, I don't know that she did.
Oh,
because they said, she says in that interview that the watch is kind of what they use for phone.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I misunderstood it then.
She says, I know I actually listened to this like 3 times.
And she had a tablet she used at her mom's too.
Yes, and so because they have the split homes, separate clothes, separate things like that.
They did say that she was accessing the internet through the television.
Yes, so that she mentions a couple of times that they were trying to limit her access to the internet and had different issues like that. So they were basically, what she had at the dad's house was that phone and then internet through the television. And the dad's not tech savvy. So that's something that'll come up a little later. The dad just got his first smartphone like a year ago and still doesn't understand really how to use it. So like it's not a big internet household, so
probably better off.
Right. Right. So you're not going to find the dad out there on social media and stuff like that. That's just, that world's not in his world.
I agree with TJ here. TJ says that my theory is Sorry, it's covering it up. Can you read it? Nope.
Yeah,
Here.
I wish the internet.
My theory is I wish the internet would go away. Our children were a lot safer and a lot of predators on there.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree.
and the mom had said she was already she'd had a few instances with the Roblox game, which we know that is a problem. That's one of the places that they try to access the kids, and that she had received a few emails through Roblox. And she had to respond back like, "Hey, do you realize this is a 15-year-old girl?" and that kind of thing. So I mean, the predators know how to get around these things, and unfortunately, kids are smarter about technology than all of us adults. They learn all the workarounds. You can, and they become like MacGyver when they get their internet shut off. They find a way to get around your blocks and all of that.
That's true. Yeah.
So anyway, those items were not gone. And her dog, she has like a beagle,
60-pound beagle named Boomer.
Yeah. So the dog was outside, and the mother said what was strange about that was that it was about to rain that day, and that the dog hates the rain. So that Angel would not have left him outside like that, knowing it would upset him. So another kind of sign that there might have been some urgency or an abrupt departure from the house, I guess.
Right.
The only thing that appears to and she's on medicine. Okay, so she has hypothyroidism.
Well, no, I just misspelled it. It's hypothyroidism.
Hypothyroid. Okay.
I just misspelled it.
That's right.
Mrs. E can't spell.
Hypothyroidism, and she is pre-diabetic, and none of her medications were with her. And like Mrs. E was just saying, the mom said that this is not something like her. She's very on top of her medicine because she knows how bad it gets if she doesn't have it. So that did not go with her. The only thing she appears to have taken, there's like a small laundry basket that the dad had recently bought her. And this isn't like one of those big baskets. This has been described as a maybe small to medium size. So, maybe not a lot of clothes you can carry in this, and that some of the clothes were gone out of her drawer. Outside of that, nothing else seems to have left the home with her, at least nothing that police or the mom is aware of at this time. So, this doesn't look great with the rushed nature of her leaving the house. They did have dogs out at the property. The dogs ended their trail at the edge of the driveway. And,
sounds familiar.
It does. And so this could be, her getting in a car and then them losing the scent after that. That seems like the most likely possibility. The mother's theory is that she was groomed online and lured away by a predator. That's what she currently believes. So let's
Did you go over everything?
Yeah, I think that part of it, as far as the daughter, kind of the situation.
I've got maps and I've got other the interview and things, so whatever you'd like to talk about.
Yeah. So did
you do the missing items, the basket, personal items left? Her mom mentions that she left suitcases and medication, and left all of her personal hygiene things. So again, that points to her not, being gone for long. She was active in the Boys and Girls Club and did virtual school. Let's see. Her mom lives about 2.5 hours away. And her mom described her as mostly quiet, but we'll talk if you get her going, which sounds like most kids these days. A lot of kids that grow up in the world of the internet and stuff. It seems that a lot of them are very quiet. She described her as thoughtful and fun and outgoing, sometimes ornery in a fun kind of way, not in a hateful kind of way. Just seemed like a all around good kid,
Yeah, it doesn't seem like she has a lot of trouble with her. She has said that this is not the kind of kid that runs away, that's not her. That's not what you would expect from her. She hasn't had that kind of issue in the past.
Did you talk about her last night? What Dad said?
That they were joking around about chips or something like that.
Yes.
And
then she went to bed around 11 and he went to bed at midnight.
Yes.
Woke up at 7:30. Did you talk about the gate?
I did.
Sorry, yes. I zoned out for a minute.
That's okay.
I'm having trouble seeing. For whatever reason, sometimes my eyes get super blurry. So if you see me squinting really hard, it's because I'm trying to read your comments. When I work on the computer a lot, my eyes just get worn out. So easier the older I get. And so I do have blue blocker glasses that I could put on to make it easier, but unfortunately they will shine because of our light. So that's why I do that. Aunt E, did you want to put up something?
No, not necessarily. I was reading some of the other descriptors. They called her, someone in her family called her a keyboard warrior. So obviously she had some, you know, technological skills. Said she was very bright. But that once she got talking, she was a big talker, but she was quiet at first. So I thought those were all kind of important things. And I was going to mention about the girls and boys club that she was a part of. Her mom spoke about that, and said that, you know, that was something that she kind of was a regular in doing.
Right. Part of her social life seems to be through that. Yeah. Even the people she goes to the mall with on that July 31st, there were people from that Boys and Girls Club, and of course, all of them had been interviewed.
I was kind of wondering how long she had been virtual school. Did they say how long?
I don't think she did.
I did not get that.
I just wondered if this is something she's done for several years, or if it's something that was new. I was kind of wondering about that.
I don't know if she's mentioned that. She has
Okay.
not. She does answer a lot of questions, and people have been, you know, she started out kind of answering everything and getting message, and I think it's starting to get overwhelming for her. You know, she moved really fast on getting the word out on her daughter. That
That's
podcast,
great.
the first interview that was done that we're aware of was 7 days ago. It was like a 9-minute video with the Naked Truth people. I think they're kind of new to YouTube, the people that run that channel. I think I remember them from a podcast that I heard.
Yeah.
So I think they're trying to transition to YouTube or open that up. But
yeah, they seem pretty good.
Yeah, I can't remember what I listened to them. They were doing a true crime story of some sort, and I listened to it like a year or two ago, but I can't remember what it was. But anyway, they do a good interview with her for like 9 minutes, and then a few days later, they do a follow-up longer, like 45-minute interview that kind of goes more into her habits. So it's a lot. And like I said, she's the source. That's the only information we have really is the mom.
Yeah, the dad. I don't even know the dad's first or last name.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's Turner, but I cannot find his first name. But if he doesn't really have an online presence, it wouldn't be a lot to, look into about that. But I have to say that one thing that stuck out to me is that, he found her missing around 7:30 and looked for her for about an hour before calling the mom to check and see if she was with her. Which I thought, I talked it over with Mystery and I said, that's probably what I would have done. I would have probably looked really, really hard before I got, with a teenager, especially, I probably would have waited a little bit. But then once he realized that she wasn't with him or wasn't with, once her father realized she was not with her mother and the mother had not heard from her, that's when he called the police. So,
yeah, I mean, a 15-year-old, you'd wonder maybe they walked to a neighbor's house or something and down the street and came back, and you might just kind of wait a few minutes and then you'd start to get really worried.
Let's see.
So one thing I want to ask Aunt E, because this is something I don't know.
Pull this down because it's blocking all of our.
She is pre-diabetic and she has the hypothyroidism, and they're suggesting without that medicine she could. Well, I don't know that she needs the medicine, but I don't have this experience. But you do some in your family. Do you mind to kind of explain what that might mean for Angel if she's without this for a while?
Well, most of the time, if you're pre-diabetic, a child her age that's showing symptoms, obviously, she's a large girl, but that happens a lot of times. Type 2 diabetes, it's a lot to do with lifestyle, and you have some issues where, your pancreas is having to work harder to produce insulin, so it kind of slacks off due to the other factors going on. Some people are, hereditarily predispositioned for type 2 diabetes, but my experience with type 1 and type 2, with type 1, it's insulin dependent. If you're type 1, you were, when you contracted diabetes, you had to have insulin because your pancreas does not make insulin anymore, does not have the ability to make any insulin. And you have to have a form of insulin in your body to keep your blood sugar regulated. But for type 2 diabetes, a lot of times they take statin drugs or other drugs, like Ozempic is one of the newer ones that they use for it. But
Mhm.
there's all kinds of type 2 diabetes drugs that help you regulate the blood sugar a little bit better, helps generate your body to produce more insulin like it's supposed to. But it once you get kind of far into type 2 diabetes, then you start to see weight loss, then you start to see the signs of what type 1 diabetes often does to people. But for type 2, she's probably taking a daily statin drug, or she's taking Ozempic or something that's going to keep her from kind of going to a full-blown diabetes where she's more dependent. She could be taking some insulin. Some type 2 diabetics have an insulin pen and do insulin injections, but it sounds like to me she was probably just on an oral pill right now. And with hypothyroidism, a lot of times they take Synthroid, and the two kind of go hand in hand sometimes, especially for someone that's larger that has some difficulties, that the thyroid gets out of whack. And that could be what a lot of her health problems are. But she may not feel super great. She may be very tired and sluggish, but for a week or two, she's not going to be super, super sick. It would take a while for her to get super sick from out having those drugs. She may not feel very well. She may have some signs of things, but it's not deadly necessarily the first few days or weeks. It would have to go on quite a while unless she is further along in the type 2 diabetes than I would assume a younger person would be.
Yeah, and I think it is. Does it matter that it's called pre-diabetic? I mean, I guess it's similar, right? It's just
It's probably like a type 2 diabetes.
yeah.
Pre-diabetic just means that her body's probably not producing the amount of insulin, and it's probably a lot to do with her size. I mean, I don't want to, point fingers, but a lot of times people that are heavier tend to have more problems and start having those symptoms. Whereas, if you can lose some weight and everything and eat healthier, a lot of those symptoms can go away and you can reverse that. So
Okay.
if she was a type 1 diabetic, she would be insulin dependent. And that's what I've gone through in my family. I had a child with diabetes. And so she showed symptoms and was, in the hospital within just weeks, and has to have insulin to live. And that's different than pre-diabetes. They just start to show symptoms and over time need the medication to either try to get their body to start producing that insulin, and if that doesn't work, then they'll go to insulin supplements so that they're getting some extra insulin. But the lack of insulin probably is just going to make her kind of feel bad, but it
Okay.
shouldn't be deadly.
So not feeling great right now, but if she's not without that, but not in a deadly situation or whatever. But what about
she's
the
been gone about a week.
But what about
so
the hypothyroid stuff? What the medications for that? What would that kind of withdrawal or cutoff be for someone?
It would just be that they just start to show symptoms over time again of the problems that they had when they were initially diagnosed.
Well, the mother said that she had suspected it at a very young age, and that at 6 years old, they finally diagnosed her and got her. So appears to be a very
I'd say she's got,
but
yeah, she's probably got some genetic predispositions
Okay.
for it, and it doesn't sound like she's full blown diabetic yet, so she's probably not on insulin shots. Like I'm figuring she's on an oral medication,
Yeah.
and that will help her body to produce insulin a little bit better, like a statin drug or something like that.
Okay.
And then Synthroid or something like that would be what she would take for hypothyroidism.
Okay. I guess yeah, that's why I wanted to know how long she could go without this medicine without having some major medical problems. It sounds like maybe a while, but she still wouldn't choose it. Like if
Right. She might not feel optimum, but I mean, it's nothing that like if she was a type 1 diabetic without insulin within probably a week or so, she would die or could be very, very ill to the point that she would need to go to the hospital.
right.
It would not take long without insulin for her to need hospitalization.
Gotcha.
Well, remember when your child with diabetes had trouble with the pod and was
Right.
on a cruise.
Yeah, it
And
didn't. It just
it was terrible.
it took about 24 to 48 hours before she got really sick and she was vomiting and her blood sugar was
Had to be in
very,
the
very high
infirmary.
because she ended up spending time in the infirmary on the cruise ship because she
Most
was
of the cruise, right?
well, the entire cruise. Yes, they
Yeah.
let her up the night before they came back to shore. So she was very, very sick in a very short amount of time.
Yes.
Within 24 hours, she was pretty sick.
Mhm.
I just want to point out that comment there from Funny Face Brenda. For mom to think groomed, wonder if mom had ever discovered a conversation as such.
Well, she said she got a suspicious email from Roblox because her daughter's Roblox account was attached to her to the mom's email address. So I'm guessing that there's some suspicion there.
I think this mom is pretty aware of the way the world is.
I'll tell
just
you.
by hearing her talk. Like
She's following the checklist. She's
Yeah.
doing everything.
What?
You could tell she's followed true crime because she uses stuff like unalived, like in conversation, like
Right.
she's speaking, and she knows about the 24 hours and how those percentages are so bad after that first day, and like there's just stuff that she knows that she must be somewhat aware. She's also very aware of the scammers out there, which is great.
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so she
Oh,
she
no
doesn't,
kidding.
she's not naive that way. I don't think that these kind of like con artists are going to easily penetrate her circle, but they are trying to apparently, which is crazy disappointing and frustrating for her because she's voiced that a lot about being disappointed at people trying to derail and put out false information and such.
I wanted to mention Alicia's comment. She says, I'm not getting parental involvement vibe from this. Me either.
No.
I think they did everything right. That's why I was saying, we discussed it and it would probably be a similar situation. It may not be a full hour before I'd be calling the police because I would probably be panicking too soon. But
Well,
yeah.
one thing I saw with the mom in that interview was that she knew it was critical. It was 24 hours. Her daughter had been missing. She knew the critical things, and she knew she was visibly upset. She was begging people to share and get her name out there and get her face out there. And that's not exactly the way we've seen in other cases.
Yeah, because we're at day 9.
It was
Right.
August 2nd is the morning he discovered her missing.
And not to bring anything else up, but there was another 15-year-old that went missing in Bloomington, Indiana, the next day. It was a girl, and I have sent you I sent you a sheet on her. It was on text. I sent it to you. You had to click on it though for it to open up, and I just found it so odd that here we have.
I got your dog cleaning pictures.
Yeah, it was before that.
Okay.
But it was a link.
Oh, did you send it to our private group of 3?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, just click on that link and it should pull up the missing page. Her name is Marilyn Rayleigh, and it was in Bloomington, Indiana.
Are
and
you
I'm
sure
like,
you sent me that? Oh,
yeah.
Okay, hold on. No, I think I've got it. Let me go there and I'll download it and we'll put that.
I just thought it was so odd to have another 15-year-old.
Well, in this picture, this looks like a
I know she
girl.
looks very young. I don't think they had any pictures of her, but I did check into it. It is a legitimate case. And it was I think she went missing the day after Angel. And so I just thought it was so odd that here we have 15-year-old after 15-year-old. And is that something that we could look at as far as like studying? Is that a typical age where kids kind of rebel or leave home or get exposed to things that could cause them to want to leave home? It just seemed very odd. But it was another one that
I've ever seen a study like that. Like, what age are kids the most vulnerable at that online predator for the grooming? Like at 15 or 13, 12, that might be, I'm sure that information's out there. I've never seen it.
On a side note, while I'm thinking about it, I wanted to ask everybody that I see a lot of our members in here, and thank you guys so much, and subscribers as well. Thank you guys so much. I was just curious if you guys like us doing these during the day, because in all honesty, our schedule's changed because we've got kids in school. Yeah. So we have to be up at the crack of dawn to get them out the door and drive them to school and pick them up and all that stuff. And just wondering if you like this time frame or if you guys prefer the night. So I'm going to put up a poll here in a minute and we'll look at that. Sorry,
And
Auntie, I'm trying to find it. Oh, here it
that's
is.
okay. And Funny Face Brenda just said, "Does anyone know if there is a Hispanic family that lives close by?"
I do
I
not
don't
know.
know.
No,
We
but I'm
haven't.
not.
I'm going to show you guys a map here in just one second after I pull up this other thing.
I mean, it's a small town where they live.
Why can't
I
this-
think
You know-
that's why she had chosen to live with her dad, because that's the house she had lived in for quite some time since she was a small child, and I think she just wanted to stay there because it was a small town.
Yeah, it's not a big population. I'm thinking if they lived in the town, so my
So this is the girl in Indiana, but
Yeah.
she looks like a very, very young
Yeah,
child.
I did see a better picture of her later on, but that was the missing one. That she looks like a small person, and I did see a missing picture of her. Let me see if I can find a better picture that I can send
Oh,
you.
wow.
what detail are you
Oh,
reading?
Christy was just saying, I ran away when I was 15. I went with a boyfriend and his friend. Looking back, I'm lucky to be alive. They gave me drugs to calm me down. And I'm so
Oh, I
sorry
gotcha.
that happened. Well, I am happy. I mean, not sorry that you're
Happy.
alive. I'm happy you're alive, is what I'm trying to say. I'm happy that
She was
that
she's last seen August 4th at 10:30 p.m. at the 2400 block of South Madison Street in Bloomington, Indiana. She's blonde, strawberry blonde hair, hazel eyes, very petite, only 80 pounds, 5 foot tall.
oh
Um,
wow.
May or may not
Only
be wearing
80 pounds,
glasses.
15?
Yeah,
That's pretty thin.
yeah, it's pretty thin. But the only pictures they show of her, she looks like she's like 6, 8.
I mean, she
Yeah,
looks
I
like an
don't-
8-year-old or a
Well,
10-year-old in that.
maybe that's. I mean, if she's that little, maybe that's actually her.
I wonder
Yeah.
if I can zoom
Yeah.
in on her a little bit better. Let me see if I
A
can.
better picture or a more up-to-date picture.
Okay,
But
so that
let's-
might be an easier. I know it's really blurry, but she's yeah.
Who knows?
Do we,
Who knows?
so when did she go? I'm sorry.
she
day
went
after,
missing
so-
the day after. It was on
No, it's August 4th at
4th
10:30 p.m. is what this says.
Yeah, I mean,
So that
it's
would
just very
be
strange.
2 days after in the evening.
So I thought
Huh.
this was a case we might also, since we've started on this 15-year-old kick, we might want to continue
Well, that's-
looking.
It's not even that. It's just that we want to help these people and get their stories out.
I know
We can
exactly.
at least we'll put her image.
Yeah,
on our
I'll do
community
it
page
and
later.
on our Facebook. Mhm.
And then I'll look into this. I don't know this story, so I'll
And
look into her.
I agree with Alicia Johnson, our member. She says all the Maryland pics are kind of. Oh wait, you know what? That's not what she said. I saw something earlier. She basically said it's that something to the effect of the younger pictures always feel suspicious or something.
I'm going to send you one that's got a more up-to-date.
Yeah, I
um,
agree with you.
It's always
picture.
suspicious when they're
Yeah.
younger, when their pictures are younger.
It makes you wonder. If they
I
were-
sent you another one that has her looks like a little bit older. Her hair's pulled back.
Okay, I'll see if I can find it real quick. You guys,
I just sent it to her.
Auntie,
but
you
she's
can
still-
cover- yeah, but I think she looks like she's 6 years old.
I know the little one, the one with her hair pulled back. She looks a tad bit older.
Is her hair pulled back? Okay.
Yeah, it's like pulled back in a tight.
Okay, let me see if I can switch
Ponytail or bun
screens
or
here.
something.
real
But I
quick.
mean, she
Let me
looks
pull
like a
that in.
tiny little girl. It's really odd.
That's so strange.
I know. I thought it was too. And I just thought that this age, and I think TJ or somebody said they think at 15 hormones start kicking in for males and females, and they get very curious about things. I think that's possible. I think it's also an age where they haven't really come into their own yet, and they're kind of like very, very easily influenced. They're not 16. They're not driving their own car. They haven't really, it's like they're in a very vulnerable age.
Okay, I think I've got.
And you,
Oh wait, no, that's.
I just wanted to
not-
mention while we're pulling that up. So we're talking about how small Berkeley Springs is. In 2020, the census was 758 people.
Oh my gosh! Well, no wonder she wanted to stay there.
So I know that like the next biggest town is kind of like Hagerstown, Martinsburg, or whatever. But still, I mean, it's not in a big metropolitan area or anything like that.
I can't for whatever
So,
reason.
but so yeah, I'm not thinking that this person's in the area. And I don't think the parents or the police are really
here we
thinking
go.
that way either. So
Okay, there we go.
just kind of want to, okay, we'll pull this up.
Okay, so but I again think she looks younger in this. And I'm like,
Well, there she does, but if the small inset picture,
that looks like an 8-year-old.
I know, and I'm like, who doesn't have a more recent photo?
And then here,
But
I would
there, I think
agree,
she
is a
looks
little
a
bit
little
older,
older.
but again, not a 15-year-old.
I know. It makes you really worry. Okay, was this child's health good? Was she fed properly? I mean,
Well, we don't know anything about her
we don't really
situation.
know.
We haven't looked into this at all, so we can't say. We really can't say.
Well, we can look into
We
this
should
story. I just
definitely
don't
look
know anything
into
about
it. I will post this on our Facebook and community tabs just to get the word out.
We'll find out about her.
Yeah.
We'll find out
But it's
about
another
her.
odd
We'll
one
do
that
next time.
that happened almost relatively within a day of each other, which I thought was odd.
Well,
Yeah.
did you find any information or anything about her disappearance?
A little bit. Let me see what other than she was last seen at 10:30
At home?
at the 2400 block of South Madison Street in Bloomington. Let me go back to my that I was looking for the news article about it.
Sorry, I know I asked you guys a question and then I got busy and didn't look at
I just
your
wanted to pull up
answers.
to Hagerstown, which is nearby. Berkeley Springs is 260,000 people, so maybe a larger community. So, but still not a gigantic area. But that's not far from Berkeley Springs, like 30 minutes.
Okay, I asked a question about if everybody likes our time. Both times are good for Real Me Too.
We have some international people, so maybe this will be better for some of them. I don't know if is it Australia that this is better for usually, or UK. I don't remember. One of them it works better.
That's nice. BJ Boop says, "Hello everyone. In my opinion, come on, whenever it's good for you, your followers will follow. You are loved that much." That's very sweet. So in other words, come on when you can, and they will follow. So, like we always say, if you build it, they will come.
Right.
I heard that somewhere once.
Well,
from Kevin Costner.
Right. So I want to just kind of go into some other things about this that we know so far. Just kind of the situation with the dad. So that the dad's definitely not plugged in, not on social media. Mom and dad are not close, so their divorce, it seems like, was not great. They basically talk to each other in relation to Angel. So they're not like communicating in friends otherwise. So she's kind of like, hey, you do your thing in looking for Angel and I'll do my thing. But she did tell him, hey, I know you don't know anything about social media. Just give that to me. I'll take care of all that. So they kind of have that understanding. So if you're kind of like, hey, why is dad not chiming in on these different Facebook groups? It's just beyond his capability.
But like I said, I think sometimes we're all better off not being involved in all this social media, to be honest. I know we're sitting here on social media talking about not being on social media, but I think some people I really do. I think people can be better off. And okay, your camera went dark for a minute. And
so the downside of, is that when you need it, you can't. And the daughter, as much as they're trying to limit her access, she was able to get online through their smart TV. It was apparently on the internet that way.
Kids find a way.
The mother and the father had no idea she was doing this until after she went missing.
Right.
So if you're not tech savvy and your kids are extremely tech savvy, then you're at a disadvantage in trying to protect them, anyway, so the mom basically hopped in her car and drove up that morning, and the search has been on. But so there are some instructions she's giving people in case obviously if you are anywhere in this area or really
I was going to show you. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm listening. No, I'm just got it pulled up. This is the area where she went missing, where that red dot is.
Yes. So this is Funk Lane. It's off of like kind of a main street for that town, Fairview Drive. But it's a dead end road. So any cars that come up to her home, they're going back out the same way. So there's one way in, one way out of that Funk Lane.
Right.
And then
that's the main road there.
Yeah.
Fairview Drive.
You have to go to Fairview Drive, either left or right. If you're wanting to get to the interstates, to me, looking at the map, it makes more sense to go left, like north. but you could go right and go a different way to get to different interstates. If this is a situation where she's been groomed by someone in another state or city or whatever, she could be anywhere, because there are so many interstates and highways that run through this area. It's like Interstate 70, Interstate 81, 68, another one that I'm forgetting, but it's like a nexus to anywhere in the
Right.
East. I mean, she could be in Pennsylvania, Indiana, DC, the Carolinas, just about anywhere very quickly from this point. I mean, they're basically 30 minutes to 45 minutes from any interstate from this home, in all different directions. So it's going to be, if she could be anywhere. So even if you're not in West Virginia, go ahead and share the picture, share the information. She might be in your town. She might be near you. Because I think this looks like, to me, the most likely scenario is that this is a person probably miles and miles away, met her online through some situation, gained her confidence, and took her on August 3rd, whether or not it was on her own free will or not.
August 2nd.
No, August 3rd is when she was. Well,
she was last seen August 2nd.
Last seen August 3rd. So she could have disappeared. The police are saying that to check your cameras August 2nd from 11:30 p.m. until 8 a.m. the next morning if you live in that area.
Oh, okay.
So
sorry, I misunderstood.
That's kind of the window they're looking at, is that 11:30 p.m. to 8 a.m. on August 3rd. So if you happen to be in that Hagerstown, West Virginia area, let's see. So it's the Real Me Too says exactly, she could be anywhere. These predators act quickly to get out of Dodge.
That's correct.
Yeah. So hopefully, what we're hoping is that she may not even realize that she's been exactly abducted or in trouble. Hopefully she's still out there somewhere. There have been sightings. Some of them have turned out to be nothing. There was a possible sighting on August 6th in that Hagerstown I've mentioned a few times.
Is that the one at the medicine place?
Yeah, there was a little medical center in Hagerstown.
That was interesting.
Yeah,
I thought so too.
Yeah, this lady has been mentioning it on that Facebook group a lot. And what happened with her? She saw the girl and then later saw the flyer and believed that she had seen her prior. But the day she claims to have seen her was August 6th. So far, we do not know if that was a false sighting or not. The lady claimed, she goes, I'm not 100% certain it's her, but I believe it was her. That's her kind of recollection of it. So that's possible. Another lead we've heard about is August 8th. So 3 days ago, police told the mother that there was a website out there with some information that has been helpful to the investigation, but they wouldn't go into a lot of detail about the name of the website or exactly what that was.
Well, I read somewhere that also she was chatting in a board, like a chat forum board type of thing.
Yeah.
They believe that's her. So
I don't know. Is that the same thing they're talking about with that website? Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, you know how these are, these rumors. You just don't know.
Yeah.
But the important thing is that we get Angel's information out and spread awareness for her. If you wouldn't mind to share this video, or if you don't want to share the video, that's fine. Just share her flyer. I have it up on our Facebook page under Mr. East Crimecast, and I have it up on our community tab. Download that flyer and share it. And if you can't find it, email me. I will send it to you. It's just important to get awareness out there for this child, and let's get her home. What else was I going to say? I had something else about that, but the most important thing is that we get her, get awareness for her and get her home. I know what I was going to say. We only have, what did we have? We have, we have 95 people in here and 50 likes.
That's pretty good.
Well,
that's a 50-50 ratio.
Yeah. Well, I would like some more likes if you guys wouldn't mind, because we know we don't get a lot of views on videos other than our main topic. But we do want to spread awareness. We want to branch out some.
But if you hit like, other people see the angel video and then they can share and all of that. So that's
Exactly.
what we're hoping to do, is to get her some more attention. A few people have picked this up, but not a ton.
Yeah.
I know
Justin,
Clutch
Clutch
Them-
Them Pearls
Yeah.
did.
And somebody said Justin also mentioned the other little Marilyn Rayleigh girl as well.
Okay, good. We want to get her information out too. And after this is over,
There's
we'll
been a
have to
lot
get
of
some kids from school, but then after that, I'll be able to put some stuff up.
yeah, and that one, they said there's some mysterious stuff about that situation. They're not sure. They've had some family members post, but neither parent has posted, so it's really kind of an odd situation.
Okay, yeah, I'll look into it for sure.
Also, while we're not, talking about any specific topic, I wanted to mention our lovely Olivia B has her own channel, and she is doing different videos, and we'll be going live at some point, and we would love for you to subscribe to her. Olivia will put that link up if she hasn't already in the chat, so please like it and share it and join and support. She's been wonderful to us, and we just want to make sure we give that love back to her.
Absolutely.
Let's see.
Also, this is our email address if anybody needs to email.
If you need the flyer, just email me. I'll send it over to you. No problem. And what else? Let's see. It's hard.
Well, I have a few things I'd like to do about this story before if we're looking at
I was going to suggest. Okay, so in about 15 minutes, one of us has to go get a child.
Okay.
So you and Auntie can stay on, and I can go, or I can go and you or you can go and Auntie and I can stay on. You see what I'm leaning towards there? Because Auntie, you'll have to close it up because he's not technical enough to handle it.
Well, regardless, I really didn't want to make this like one of those 3-hour
right
shows for us.
You need to break their hearts and tell them that you're not available the next few nights too.
Well, the reason I didn't want to do that is I wanted to keep this shorter so it's more shareable for people that are just wanting to kind of get the story of her out there. So I didn't want to do like a 3-hour.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's fine with me.
That way, if people kind of want like a discussion of it and kind of an understanding of the story, they can share that to people.
And you can share it on her Facebook page, the group page that they have that is looking for her, that the mom is kind of in charge of. You can also share it on that page.
Yes, there's all kinds of stuff on that page too. And I'll tell you the name of it in case you cannot find it. It's called Help Angel Turner, and it's on Facebook. And it's got about, I think, over 4,000 people included in it. So I would encourage you to join it just for updates and to help out. And I saw Mally Cat. Hello, Mally Cat. Welcome. Let's see. And R. Taylor says number 61. Thank you, R. Taylor. And I saw earlier you were saying you can't afford a subscription, or not subscription, a membership. You don't have to have a membership. We appreciate members, but you absolutely don't have to have it. It's not a requirement. We just like I said, we appreciate our members, but I don't want you to feel bad because you don't have one. I am able to give out 10 every month. So as soon as the next month rolls around, I'll be giving that next 10 out. So I have a theory about how you get them. The more you comment, the more likely you are to get one.
It does seem like it works that way.
It does seem like it works that way. So I would highly recommend commenting a lot on the channel. And for whatever reason, it seems like that's what happens, right?
It does.
The Real Me Too says she joined the Facebook group. And Just Me says, why are these teenagers disappearing? I think you're gonna. I think you know what's going on. Cults. Who knows? Honestly, I do not know. I
definitely think there's evil out there for sure, and I think that people do bad things. So I think it can take many forms for sure.
And you wanted to mention, a couple things too. Mr. E is working a lot this week, so we might be able to go live Wednesday night or
Wednesday
Thursday.
Or Thursday are the best options.
Are the best option for the rest of the week for us. We are probably. It's my understanding there's going to be a lore lodge this evening. Is that right, everybody? That's going to wrap up Sebastian Rogers, and I'm sure that we're going to want to discuss whatever their conclusions are. So we'll probably come back with Sebastian, I'm assuming, on Wednesday or Thursday.
So.
But I think that's all my announcements. And again, thank you guys for being subscribers, members, and followers. We appreciate you. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's just a few things I wanted to make sure we got into. One was the mom is making certain requests, so they do not want searching to happen, and what they want is they want awareness and videos, TikToks, flyers, all of that kind of thing done, because this is not a search kind of situation where they want people going through the woods in West Virginia and the mountains and all that looking for this girl. They specifically are asking not to do that. So if you're kind of in that area and you're thinking of going and doing sort of an unofficial search, they absolutely are not wanting that. They don't. They believe that she's not in the area. They think she's gone somewhere. So we're looking more like nationwide highways, truck stops, places that they, if she's stopping to get medicine, like maybe at Hagerstown, like we could be possible, or anything else. We're looking for her anywhere around the country. They're not really looking at this isolated area, because I think they believe that she's was immediately taken out of that town. They also do not want any reward funds, and they don't. The mom is asking, do not contribute to any of these reward funds. She says we don't. The police don't think that's helpful right now, and they're prone to scams. So if you see anything up associated with Angel asking for rewards or anything like that, it's probably a con, unless you see it posted by the mom, Carrie, and she said she's only doing that if the FBI or someone else at some point advises her to do that and thinks that it might be helpful. For any of you that have been in true crime for a while, even though we like the idea of the reward funds, the reality is that they don't actually work. Typically, they don't. The percentages they're not very effective.
What's the closest large city to her?
Probably like Washington, D.C. or Baltimore.
So what was the name of the town again?
Berkeley Springs is like their small little town that's kind of like a suburb or part of the Hagerstown
Okay.
metropolitan area is what they call it. But and that's about 260,000 people.
Gotcha.
They're about 35 minutes from like that shopping district or whatever.
Gotcha.
I started a poll.
We got a poll. What's the poll?
My poll is let's see. Sorry, I'm jumping around. I can't find it. My poll is, whoops, I can't see it. Do you prefer we stream live in the daytime or night? And it's a day
question.
says 17% so far. Night says 33. We don't care, says 14. And it doesn't matter. We will be there 25%.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's well, leave it up for a while.
I want to see. I was just curious. I mean,
Yeah.
I know it's not relevant to this case.
Of course,
but
there's a bias for the daytime people right now. 'Cause
Right?
They're here, I would guess.
it is very spread out.
So we should probably just do a little of both occasionally. That way, people that work at night and day and whatever.
And sometimes it's better for us to work at night and do streaming during the day, and sometimes it's
Yes.
vice versa. So mostly, I mean, we have kids going to bed at 9:00 now. There's just, we're getting up at 5:45. So to make sure everybody has breakfast and is ready for school, and we take them to school and all the things. So I will, I go ahead and talk about what you were wanting to talk about.
What
I already like roll into Sebastian mode. I'm just like, well, guess what about Eric Craddock? No, sorry, I didn't mean to. I just started to.
Oh, it's like a habit, right?
I know. I can't. It's a hard habit to break.
I do. So we wouldn't be us if we didn't have questions, right?
Right.
About the
okay.
about the
So
whole
we have
situation.
questions.
So there are things that are in my mind that I would like to have answered that I don't quite understand, and I want more clarity on if we can at some point. So I'm going to guess at some point, Carrie, the mom, will maybe listen to this, and
this is the house,
she can
by
post
the way.
updates, or maybe it's already out there. Maybe
So
some of you that have been following the case. Oh, that's her home.
That's her home. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I hadn't seen a picture of the house yet.
Yeah, I thought it might help us with the terrain.
So behind, I wonder what they mean by behind.
Well, there's a lot of pictures. You want me to just scroll through them real
Well,
quick?
they called it a neighborhood, and it doesn't look like a neighborhood. It's kind of like individual homes out of
very wooded.
No, I don't think it's a neighborhood. I don't think there's a lot of houses back there at all.
This was when it was for sale, many moons ago. So we don't know what it looks like now, if it's been renovated or.
It didn't look like you could drive behind the house, so maybe they mean on the side or something.
Yeah, I thought we might be able to get to a driveway picture if I keep going.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, so
But it said that they had lived there since 2012.
well, this
Oh,
is the listing from when they bought it. So
Oh,
I'm
okay.
assuming they, you know how people over time renovate and stuff. Okay, I don't really. I guess that's it. That's all you get.
okay.
Hmm.
Well, that's okay.
Looks like a gravel road.
Well, the one thing you would notice in that situation, neighbors would notice strange cars because you're there. It's not like it's a neighborhood where people are in and out, where cars are always going and coming, and it's
Right.
not. It would be very easy to spot someone that really didn't belong.
Well, that's a great question, Auntie, because that's one of the questions I had too. Was it common for her to have people come over to the house? Does she frequently have other teens or whatever pop in and out and come over and play video games or whatever and leave and just hang? Or was that really unusual for anyone to come up to the house besides the family?
Did you hear something about a neighbor saying that she told her it was her boyfriend?
No.
I saw
No.
something on the mom's Facebook page about that. I don't know. That may just be a hearsay thing, but that's something that we need to check out. That mom may have shared that information at some point. I saw something about it and I was surprised. It was from a neighbor.
Did you see the mom though say, "Do not believe anything you read that is not directly from me"?
Yes,
She
yes.
made a big post about that. So
Yeah.
I want to be. You know how rumors get started. I mean, there's several Facebook groups that we're all, aware of that have a lot of rumors in them that are absolutely crazy.
Absolutely insane. Yep.
Right.
I read every single post that she did today that she posted, but I haven't read all of her replies. She might have said that in a reply somewhere, but nothing that she posted mentioned a boyfriend. But she did in one of the podcasts said that when one of the ladies from that Two Chicks episode, she asked her if she had a boyfriend or anything like that she was aware of, and she didn't say that.
Yeah, she didn't say that on that interview.
Of course, you could always have a boyfriend and mom not know about it, but she didn't know about it. It seemed, at least not when she did the interview.
Also, I wanted to shout out another creator that I watched, learning more about Angel. It was the Sleuth Mom. Great.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she was great.
Yeah.
I would highly recommend checking her out. She's got about 10,000 subscribers, so I think she's been around a little bit, but she was awesome. So I would highly recommend checking her out. Sorry.
Yeah, she did an episode on this. So there's a couple of people that have done it. So and she did a nice job.
Hi, Ginger Girl. Well, she said, "Lovely surprise you're on during the day."
It is a surprise.
We'll need you to vote in that poll, Ginger Girl.
Yeah, to encourage us to do it again.
Is Angel the only child? Not. It's my understanding she is not. The mom has been pretty close about the other children. I believe that some of the other children were getting contacted through Facebook by people trying to find out information. And she put a post up about it on that page saying, "Do not contact my kids." So
she did say brothers and sisters.
Yes.
So
we don't know if they're halves or steps or.
So I'm not sure about that situation, but but that's another question. I was curious if it was anyone else living in the home at that time, and I don't know if she said specifically yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I mean, the way she tells the story, it sounds like it's only the dad and Angel that were there, but it's possible there's another kid that lives there.
Oh, funny face. Brenda was asking about the address. It is 92 Funk Lane.
Yeah.
So, and that is in Berkeley Springs, West Virginia.
Yeah.
That's where she went missing
And
from.
you pull that up on the map and you'll see all those interstates just like 30 minutes away. And it's like, oh my gosh, if they got on the highway, she could be anywhere.
Oh, that's a good point, Diane.
Diane says, I think kids at 15 want to go places and are frustrated because they can't drive. They want independence and to be around peers.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. I get it. I get that too.
Oh yeah. You know what? I don't watch a lot of Michelle. Funny face Brenda says Michelle After Dark covered this. She did. I do not watch a lot of Michelle After Dark. It's nothing against her. I don't usually catch her. It doesn't come up in my role. But I understand she did cover it as well. So
Yeah, and there's some other ones too, but I don't recall
We
their names.
either need to wrap it up, or one of us needs to go get a child.
Um,
Do you want to keep going? I can go do it. Auntie knows how to turn it off, don't you,
We can-
Auntie?
I think
we're-
I just hit the
we're
E
okay for
button.
another
Pretty
5
easy.
or 10 minutes, aren't
Okay,
we?
I'm fine.
I'd like to.
I mean, the line is eternal, so it doesn't really
It
matter
won't
when we
matter,
get there
'cause
because I'll
they-
sit in there for 15 or 20
Yeah.
minutes once I get there anyway.
I just had a couple of things I just wanted to kind of get out.
Okay, sure.
Here before we close, just some other questions and things that I'm thinking about with this case that are I'd like some clarity on. Another is there's a neighbor that saw an SUV there, and the Hispanic male is inside the window, and then another neighbor sees a light-colored 4-door sedan
In the driveway.
in the driveway, and the Angel is standing at the door.
We
So-
don't know which door it is, though. We don't know if she's at the door of the car or door of the house.
I think she says door of the house.
Oh, okay. And the trunk was open.
And the trunk was open. But what I want to know are these at the same time? Are these separate incidents? Is it a Hispanic male both times? And
Was it that's yeah, okay.
the
I see what
first
you're
time I
saying.
heard the story, it sounded like the cars were there at the same time to me. And then when I went back and re-listened to it, it almost sounds like it's two separate events.
I thought it sounded like two separate.
Yeah. So I was one during the day, was one at night. Was it, just kind of curious about that part. And if the trunk's open, was anyone at the trunk that they recalled?
Right.
Then the other thing I think they're going to be looking at a lot is the dog. Chris McDonough from the lab, he always says, or he said maybe a couple of weeks ago on something, the best witness in any case is the dog. And so what I was curious about, because what I'm wondering is was she forcibly taken from the home, or did she kind of go? I'm leaning towards she was forcibly taken from the home right now, like that it was not by choice. But the dog, a beagle, I've never really been around a beagle.
Oh, they're loud and awful.
They are barkers.
Are they very protective?
They seem you.
Like
I don't know how protective, but they are barkers.
They're friendly.
Okay.
They're usually friendly. Wouldn't you agree, Auntie?
I don't know. I've seen a few that weren't as friendly, but they're typically a friendly dog, but they bark. Everything makes them bark or howl.
Yes, they're barkers, big time. Yes, real me too. They are barkers. That's what I mean by awful. Is that the barking is incessant. They bark at everything.
Okay, then so would a beagle with a stranger pulling up in front of the house lose his mind, and especially if the girl were struggling in some way?
Right.
So that's what I'm wondering about.
Yes, and that's all kind of odd that if the dad didn't hear a dog, especially if she'd let it outside, how come he didn't hear it barking if it was like something that would have caused the dog to get upset?
Unless he barks all the time at everything. If
Right,
it's
and that is possible.
I don't know. So
Or I mean, in this day and age, a lot of people have sound machines. Is that possible?
He didn't
I thought
even know
about
how to use his smartphone. I doubt he's got a sound machine.
So
He might have a fan though.
Maybe a fan.
I'd like to know about the personality of the dog. Like if he sensed that Angel was in trouble, would he come to her? Because he's outside and it doesn't.
Well,
I wanted to know, is this fenced now?
They said that she put the dog door up to keep the dog out because it would jump on her in the middle of the night and lick her and stuff. And the fence was
going to say the
moved.
same thing.
And the dog was outside. And typically, with it being kind of stormy, the dog would not have been outside because he was scared of storms. And so that was a kind of an odd kind of red flag, because if she is, her mom even said this on her page, she's a big animal person. She would have been very aware that her dog didn't like being out in the rain and would have made sure he was in.
Right.
So,
but was it like, do they have a little pen, fence, leash? Like, does he kind of roam freely? A lot of country areas like this, they roam freely.
I'm going to guess, growing up on a farm, I'm going to guess roam freely.
I bet she just let him out to go to the bathroom and was just out with him and let him out. And then
he came out with her with whoever was.
Right. And she was taken, and that's why the dog wasn't put back in.
Yeah, I think understanding this dog will be a big key in understanding what happened here, I guess is what I'm getting at. Because the gate, she says, the dad says the gate is like askew. So that also made me wonder, does that mean the gate was just open, or did she mean like it was knocked down, like in a way that Angel would not have done? Like somebody barreled into the
That's a
room.
good point.
I think it
Because-
sounded like, and we've done this with ours. We just set the gate up at the door to keep the dog out, but and then you just kind of move it askew to go through it to get around it, and then that's what it sounded like to me, is that she just moved it to get around it and to take him outside.
Yeah, I think that's a question
That's
I
a good,
have.
that's a good question.
And Auntie,
and that's the big question there too.
I'll tell you something else too. Sorry, I'm going to go back because I'm squinting like crazy. Let's see. I'm going to go back to where we were.
But
Where
Real-
were we?
Real
Where
Me Too-
were we?
Real Me Too is asking the question here too. So this is the big part
Wait,
of it
I'm
outside
trying
of
to-
everything else. Why did Angel take her clothes?
Where am I?
So
There you
she
go.
doesn't take makeup. She doesn't take anything else. She takes like a small to
There you
medium
go.
size laundry basket of clothing, which makes me think, to me, what that sounds like is whoever abducted her ran in real quick,
Or
grabbed.
who she left with. We don't know she was abducted.
I'm saying theory, total
Okay.
theory. This is what it makes me think,
Okay.
is that she did not leave of her own free will. Someone went in there and was like, I'm going to make this look like she ran away, grabbed a handful of clothes out of her drawer, threw it in a laundry basket, and walked back to the car.
Without her dad waking up?
Yeah.
I don't think.
I don't know. That doesn't sound like
Yeah,
me.
that's what it makes me think.
I-
Because why wouldn't she use
Yeah,
it?
I
Well, that's
agree.
what I said to you. I said it's a very awkward thing to choose to take a basket as opposed to what her mother said. Her suitcases and bags were all there,
A tote
Um,
bag would be what
Right.
I would think a kid would take. But they would put their
right?
stuff
Or
in
even a
tote bag.
Walmart bag.
Yeah.
But somebody trying to stage her abduct or her runaway would just take whatever was there. If it was a laundry basket, like, I'm gonna make it look like she packed her stuff and left with me on purpose.
I mean, I guess it's possible, but that's pretty brazen to go in somebody's house when you know
Yeah.
the dad's in there sleeping.
But they've been in the home before. I don't know. And if they were allowed in the home, if they had earned her trust, if it was because
Right.
somebody was at the house 2 days prior, and that may not have been the first time they had ever been there.
And I'll tell you, her
You know.
dad said that her clothes were some clothes were missing from her drawer.
It's
And
just
I
strange.
actually, well, one of the things I said to you is if clothes were missing from our kids' drawer, they have so many clothes, I wouldn't have a clue if they were missing or not, you
Yeah.
know. So
it's just thoughts I've had about it that kind of, maybe there's answers to some of these, and some, of
Oh.
course, there's not at this point.
and Auntie, I wanted to point out that the beagle is 60 pounds. That's
Oh.
a big beagle.
It's a big beagle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So his name is Boomer, which I think that's a great name.
It's a good name.
Wasn't there a dog in the 80s named Boomer?
Boomer.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wasn't there a show called Boomer or something?
So, one of the things McDonough has said about these dogs being great witnesses is if this guy came in the house, if he did go inside
Mhm.
and took her some way, forced her out, then he's taking all that dog hair with him. And he's got that in his car, and he's got that in his house,
Oh.
he's got it in his clothes. And that's why a dog can make
Okay.
a great
Oh,
witness.
wow. I could
to
see
answer
though.
Jen-
I
I'm
could
sorry.
see by the map though. You could see, if someone strange is going down your road, you're going to see that. You're going to notice it. People in the country notice that more, just because in that rural setting, people don't go down those kinds of roads unless they've got somewhere they have to be. So the fact that there's two strange vehicles within a very short amount of time is key.
Yeah.
I just realized something that I need to share.
Okay.
I haven't had a gnat in my face in here today.
And the gnat free episode.
I'm so excited. I'm
Yeah.
looking up. I'm like, where? I saw a fly go by, which is
The
whatever.
door opening closed.
But I'm looking around and I don't see
winning.
any gnats.
We're winning the war.
Ginger,
What-
Girl asked if there are any motels.
Did you
close
do
to your
something
home.
else?
Doesn't look like it. I didn't. I've been pouring bleach down the.
I think that's working.
Yeah.
And for whatever else it's worth, the mother is trusting the police. She seems to think that they're doing a great job. She's emailing them every day. They respond very quickly. So she's not in one of those situations where she thinks they're not doing what needs to be done. She's pro Morgan County police right now. And what she's asking, if you do see her, have any tips, leads, that kind of thing, to send it directly
Yes.
to law enforcement, not to her, not to any intermediary. The Morgan County
There's their phone number.
sheriff's office. Oh, they have that phone number there.
Yeah, it's started.
And she said, and if you forget that, just call 911 and they'll direct you quickly to the place.
Granny is making a recommendation of your departure, Mrs. E.
Of my what?
Departure.
Tell Granny to relax.
That's I told her.
Granny,
The line's eternal
Granny,
at
unless
school,
you're going to
so.
come online, I'm disregarding you, Granny.
Uh-oh.
Granny's going to get mad at me.
I had to make her close the door.
I miss Granny. Miss her being here. We still haven't gone back to the
I can arrange
guest
that.
bedroom.
And also before we do end up going here today, I also want to just offer to Carrie if there's anything we can do to help, any new information, updates, new flyers, anything you want to do differently, or if we made any errors in our reporting of the facts of it. We've done the best we could with what we had there. I think everything's pretty accurate, but we'd be happy to clarify if there's anything off or just anything we can do. Just let us know. Just email us or go in our comments. We read all the comments.
Okay.
And we'll correct anything like that.
Okay. A few things, Granny. Even when we arrive on time, we still have to wait about 15 minutes before we're even able to get through the line to get the child. So that's one. Number two, I wanted to shout out to Chloe and Sophia. It was Fox and the Hound. Boomer was Copper's kind of mentor, right? I think. Or no, was Boomer the woodpecker? Boomer was the woodpecker.
You think?
And
no, I don't think so.
Look it up.
I'm looking it up.
You know how much I love that movie. Fox and the Hound's one of my faves. Let's see.
Yeah.
And Butterfly Kisses is wishing us well. Mrs. Z, I'm excited for you. I love gnome gnats.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Here's another good tip for any of these cases. Really,
here, let me take this back down because it kind of covers up our things. Okay.
If this is real.
No Boomer in that movie.
There is a Boomer in that movie.
Copper. It's Copper. Dixie Copper. Vixie Todd. Chief.
There's a Boomer.
I'm looking up all the characters. There's the bear. There's Big Mama, but no Boomer.
There's Boomer. I'll look it up.
If anyone sees her, please take a picture so Ellie doesn't waste time chasing false leads. Also, if you see her with someone in the vehicle, take a picture of the license plate. Definitely good tips there. So yeah, use those phones, and that that could save them a ton of time. That way they don't have to spend 2 days looking for security footage and all that kind of thing.
I'm so sorry.
And then if you're interested in following the case, I mean, the mother, it's heartbreaking. I mean, she's that's it. That first interview she does with the two chicks on a mic is that's how you think a mother
should respond
to a situation like this. And she's turned into mama bear mode, and she's trying to bring her back home, and it's obvious that she's burning the candle right now, trying to get it done. And
she's done it very smart so far. She's
really
very
smart.
aware of what's going on and doing the best to advocate for her daughter. And I could tell a huge difference in some of the other cases that we've looked at in the way she's responded, and very well informed.
Yeah, she's been doing it right from what I can tell, and looks like she's got aware of all the pitfalls. Yes, Mrs. E.
I just wanted to point out that Aunt E is incorrect.
Oh.
Dinky and Boomer are supporting protagonists in the 1981 Disney film The Fox and the Hound.
Well, I went to the character list and he wouldn't listen.
They are sidekicks of Big Mama.
Okay, I said Big Mama.
And Paul Winchell was the voice, who was also the voice of Tigger. And I just wanted to point out that you are incorrect.
I don't think that was a big Boomer that you'd remember.
Boomer was a woodpecker. I looked up the picture as well.
It was a woodpecker?
Yes.
Here. Oh, I was looking at Boomer the dog.
See?
Gotcha.
Woodpecker right there.
Oh, okay. I was looking at Boomer the dog.
So I just, like I said, it's okay when you're incorrect, Auntie.
Oh, no, I'm not saying I'm not wrong. I just didn't see Boomer the dog. I looked up Boomer the dog.
Charlene says, Mr. E, two chicks and a mic. No kidding.
Right.
Ginger girl, we're going to try not to talk about Sebastian right this second, but I do see your, thing.
Yeah, so we do what our plan is when we go live again on Wednesday or Thursday, whichever it ends up being. We're going to do the Lore Lodge, and then just kind of those other things that have happened all around the last week or so with Sebastian.
Yeah,
we'll
with
get
the
back to
results
that.
of the case of the protective order, or what we know so far. Actually, Mr. E got footage and just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Our Sumner County Sheriff had passed away, and Mr. E happened to be there for the processional. What else do we have?
Well,
We were going to go over some Brandy Elliott, Tiffany Bostic.
Yeah, at some point,
Trinity. I can't stop it.
As those trials and things get closer, we're going to keep watching all of those that we've covered in the past. And I think we should go here shortly.
Yeah, I just want to point
she
that
is
out.
Mrs. E is a great investigator. She is.
Mm-hmm.
She's always gathering this
Disney
stuff.
trivia is probably my forte. I could probably, but the only other person that could beat me is Auntie. So, I get. Yeah, we probably should wrap it up.
We want to keep it shorter.
We want to keep it short so people can share. Let's see, and we're looking at Wednesday or Thursday. We'll let you guys know. Hopefully sooner than later.
Hopefully we can review some of the Lore Lodge that's going to be coming out tonight as well.
That's the plan.
And if you have any information, I'm going to share this real quick. About Angel Turner, please contact. Oh man, it started going again. Okay, please contact the Morgan County Sheriff's Department at 304-258-0305.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks so much. We'll see you soon.
And I'm going to try to find our closer.
We remember you. We remember you. Ooh. We're still here for you. We'll shine a light for you. We're holding on to hope for you. We remember you. We remember you. Ooh. We're still here for you. We'll shine our light for you. We're holding on to hope for you. We're holding on to hope for you. Ooh. We remember you. We remember you. We're still here for you. We'll shine our light for you. We remember you. We remember you. We're still here for you. We'll shine our light for you. We remember you. We